The Hugh Freeze era gets started with a bang as Auburn beats the UMass Minutemen 59-14. Let's talk about it on this edition of the Uptempo Podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Auburn family. That's what we've been waiting on, baby. Auburn football played some Auburn football. The Auburn Tigers defeat the UMass Minutemen 59-14 Saturday in Jordan-Hare Stadium, the largest crowd in the history of Jordan-Hare Stadium. I'm your host, Dustin Smith, joined as always by my guy in the 251, Blake Lane. Looking a little different today. Blake Lane with the stunner shades. Blake, talk to the people. You look good, baby.
Hey, what is up, Auburn family? We're straight bugging today, man. Dustin, we handled business 59-14. Couldn't be happier for this program. First, I want to start off with this, Dustin. I want to give a shout out to this fan base, man. I know the last 2 years have been difficult, and we've talked about that many a times, right, Dustin? And you sent me a video yesterday morning of Tiger Walk, and just to see how deep that was and how many fans were there for Hugh's first entrance into Jordan-Hare Stadium. A special moment, right? A special moment. And to see him interacting with his family after the game, I know you're big on him singing the fight song, knowing word for word. That's big to me. I think all of this was a success for the Auburn family. And it goes back to Texas A&M last year, right? It goes back to Cadillac Williams taking over that program last year. And we want to give him his flowers, right? We want to give him a standing ovation for what he done. And then Hugh Freeze keeping him on this staff, right, Dustin? So it was special, man. The feeling was electric. You could feel it through the television. Just to see those 90,000 people just enjoying football once again on the plains, Dustin. It's no longer going straight to basketball and baseball. Football is back on the plains, and you beat a team down that you were supposed to beat down. That's what felt good to me, Dustin, was you handled business. You went in and you dominated. All right. Let's take that first drive. And you know, there were red flags. UMass marched it down on us. That's cool. There's things to pan out after this first game. There's things to work on offensively and defensively. But let's talk about us just hammering a football team, staying away from the negativity. And it's straight positive vibes over here, baby. Like I'm bugging. I'm happy. I'm excited. Anytime I see that score roll across the bottom of the screen and Auburn absolutely dominated an opponent, I'm bugging, baby. I'm bugging, Dustin. And so, War Damn Eagle.
Yeah, go back to last year's season opener. Didn't feel good coming out of that one. All your concerns were still concerns, right? And it just felt different, bro. Like when I pulled up Friday morning, it just felt different. Like there's always that excitement of a season opener, a brand new season coming. But this one, obviously, with the new Hugh Freeze era getting started off and everything that we've been through the last couple of years, this one felt different, man. Than it was just it was awesome, man. I had a blast this weekend, obviously at the game, but just being around campus, man, just being back and hearing the hope, like hearing people just walk by you and talking about, you know, optimistic and can we win 8 games? Can we win 9 games? Man, next year we could really have a year, you know, haven't had those conversations in a while, man. And the conversations for the last couple of years have been about bigger picture. Is this guy going to work out? What are we going to do? And, you know, then separate arguments branch off into that. People start fighting about boosters and this, that, and the other. Everything this weekend was just about football, man. It was just hope again, and it was just about the football, and that was a beautiful thing. And it's been a long time, man. So just shout out to Hugh Freeze, like you mentioned that fight song, because I talked to you about it a little behind the scenes, like our 8th time trying to record this episode here. Been some technical difficulties, so we've already done this episode a couple of times. So so Blake knows all my points, but yeah, man, if you've seen the video going around on Twitter, Hugh singing the fight song in the locker room after the game with the team, knowing the words already. Game 1, man. The guy's invested. He really is. You see him throwing the toilet paper into the trees, and there's a lot of symbolic stuff that's kind of going on here. The original trees, well, not the original, but you know, the the trees that we were able to roll them again for the first time since Updike did what he did. Also, Hugh Freeze era starting off. Me and you have made the comparisons before about how Nick Saban and Pat Dye back in the day, or excuse me, Bear Bryant and Pat Dye back in the day, in comparison now to kind of age and time and all that. It's a Hugh Freeze coming in the same kind of way that Pat Dye did at the back end of a Bama dynasty. All those things, man. There's just a lot of things that kind of line up here, and you say this almost feels like it was meant to be, man. It really, really does. So as far as all of that goes, and all the vibes and all the hope that we have pumped up on this podcast and everyone else has that covers Auburn, man, it was cool to kind of see it. Because if all that crumbles down, if we come out here and we win this thing 38-35 or 24-21, and look like crap, then all of a sudden you go, whoa, that was just a bunch of noise. Tangible, man, like real evidence here. We got a coaching staff that knows what they're doing, bro. So let's get into the game. What you got?
You could be like Texas Tech, Dustin, and lose to Wyoming in double overtime.
Yeah.
So there you go.
A lot of offseason hype around the Red Raiders didn't amount to nothing, bro. 59-14, Blake. We came out and just like everybody kind of assumed, we wanted to pound the rock on them. And that's kind of where I'll get started, man, was we just established a run. We came out. Let's get into the quarterbacks here, Blake. Payton Thorne goes 10 for 17 for 141 yards with a touchdown. And then, like I said, establishing that run. Robby Ashford, 9 attempts for 51 yards, 3 tutties. They're calling him red zone Robby, man. And vanilla is what I would say about this. We only ran a couple of plays. The Robby Ashford package is not 3 plays. Like, it's not. They kept running that sweep to the side over there because it was working and UMass can't stop it. And there's no reason to put stuff on film if you ain't got to. And make these people think about it. Make A&M, make Cal, make these people we got coming up think about it. They know Robby has the ability to throw it. He's a quarterback. But don't show them nothing. Don't show them what you got going on. Same thing with Payton. Now, I said 45-20. Obviously, I was off. You were much closer. We just calling the blowout. I actually came kind of close to your official prediction on the score. But I did say that Payton, this is kind of my original thoughts on why that was going to be that way, was the passing number, because Robby was 2 for 6 for 3 yards. He had that pass. I think that was kind of situational, right? Like he had the screen pass where Rivaldo got called for the hold. And I didn't necessarily like the passing plays that were kind of called for Robby. And then you get that they try to set him up with an easy screen and get him going, and then it gets called back. There were some situations where he got put in where there was penalties, and then he's in 3rd and long and a bad passing down. I don't think that when Robby had to throw, I don't think that he was in the best position down and distance wise when those situations presented themselves. But 10-17 is not the most efficient thing either, and that's kind of what I expected with a whole new set of receivers and new quarterbacks. What was the touchdown? I believe it was from. Where it was right there, right? And that's what we talked about pregame, was there was going to be some of those. You were going to leave some on the field with a bunch of new guys and a new quarterback and all that. But overall, man, as far as the offense goes, I think they kept it super vanilla, and they just pounded the rock really, and they did it with by committee. Like I said, bro, we did this without our best player, without our most dynamic player on offense. This was the game plan. Damari only ended up having like 8 carries, right? Jeremiah Cobb. I tried to tell him, Blake. Jeremiah Cobb, if you give this boy totes, he's gonna take somebody's job. And I'll tell you this right now. I'm gonna say it, bro. The second best running back on this team is Jeremiah Cobb. That's just a fact. And he will be RB2 by the time the season comes to an end. I love Damari, but I've seen enough. Because I was already kind of feeling this way. I've been like, just Jeremiah Cobb's a guy. And then after what you saw, bro, like you put 2-3 on a running back in orange and blue, they're gonna do something dirty. You got to wear that 2-3 right.
A true freshman picking up pass protection the way he did.
Man, so yeah, talk about his IQ, man. So just everyone talked about the offensive line. All these new pieces, Blake, and they come out and establish the run, punch people in the mouth. What did you think of that? And what did you because the big conversation is the 2-quarterback system, right? And Hugh said it. Hugh said in the press conference, he said, I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all how many different ways you want me to tell you. Robby Ashford is going to be part of this game plan.
Yeah.
And we tried a 2 QB system last year, and you kind of saw how that went. But this one looked a little bit different, didn't it?
Yeah, completely different. My thing with the 2 quarterback system thing last year was like, I always go back to that Penn State game, right? Where Landon King makes the big grab, and then it's like, hey, TJ comes off the field, Robby comes on. It was just like the flow was never right the way Harsin really wanted to do things, right? I felt like the flow was right yesterday. I felt like when Robby come in, we had momentum. We were inside the red zone like we talked about in the preseason, over fall camp, through the summer. We were always going to say, hey, when we get inside the red zone, Robby Ashford can put up numbers, okay? Because he's just so slippery, man. He's so athletic. He can do things that not many people in college football can do, right?
He's hurt, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, first guy misses. If he makes the first guy miss, watch out. It could be a house call, okay?
Every time he touches it.
And that's just how electric he is, right? So you get him inside those 20s, man, and he's just so hard to stop. And then when they do rip off, Robby throws one, then you're going to have to respect that part of his game. So I thought it was a great job. It was very vanilla. This offensive line, man, just the moving pieces, Dustin. If you saw that and how many people we moved around that offensive line, how many different combinations, Auburn and Coach Hugh Freeze, they're still trying to find out what's the perfect O-line, what's gonna stick as we move into SEC play, right? I thought that was a big thing, and it was clean, right? It was clean.
4 penalties, 40 yards.
Yeah, so it was a clean game. I think Avery had that one on him that I think it was a hold, right? And yeah, but other than that, I thought the O-line played phenomenal, man. I'm so excited to see us making holes, bro, moving people off the line of scrimmage, giving these backs an opportunity, right? That's refreshing to me as an Auburn fan. And Payton Thorne, stepping up in the pocket. I know we had a question about him. Was he going to try to, take off early? And when he didn't have to, I thought Payton using his legs early, just showing, hey, I can run. Yeah, it looked awkward, but he let you know, like, hey, we're in the RPO system and I can run. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I can take off and scamper for 5, 6, 7 yards. It was nice to see. It was a completely different offense. And once the chemistry gets down between these receivers and this quarterback, I think you're going to see a dynamic offense in Jordan-Hare Stadium. To your point about the Fromm play, Dustin, that I was really impressed with. Payton made the throw, all right, and he knew that he messed up. He knew he made a mistake. He knew it was 6. He knew he made a mistake. He immediately turned to the sideline, turned to Fromm. He said, hey, that's on me. My fault. All right, my fault. That's a team captain for you. All right, a guy that's only been on campus 3 or 4 months, he's already taken that leadership role. Also, Hugh Freeze rips the headset off. I love it. All right, he looks right at Payton. There's a coaching moment there. All right. Mm-hmm. Payton Thorne is allowing him to be coached. All right. He's allowing himself to be coached by Hugh Freeze. That is something that you want to see. Robby Ashford. Me and my dad talked about this last night when we talked after the game. My dad said it's 52-7. Camera pans over on Payton and Robby. They're both out of the game. Holden's in. And they're sitting there and they're talking to each other. Did you see that last year, Dustin?
No, there was I feel comfortable saying there was some chemistry issues, especially in the QB room.
You didn't see that last year, and I thought Robby made a great point about that. He was asked in postgame, what is your relationship with Payton? How do y'all feel about each other? And he said, we're brothers, man. He said, yeah, we compete, but we're brothers, man. He said, we go to battle. And I said this last night on the War Report postgame. Robby Ashford loves Auburn University. You can tell it every time he steps across the goal line. All right. He loves the orange and blue. He is forever grateful of Auburn University. You can tell it, man. He bleeds orange and blue. And what he did yesterday, it showed that. The maturity questions. I think Robby is growing into that. I think Robby has accepted his role, and he just wants to see Auburn win football games, Dustin. And I think, hey, if what was the over under of touchdowns for Robby? What did we set it at? I know it was he might break it by the third week of the season, Dustin.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was like we had like 7 or 8 touchdowns for Robby. He might break it by week 3, bro. So good for 9. I'm proud of him. We said that, he would make plays inside the 20s, and just to see him with a smile on his face. And, for him to lose the job to Payton, and Payton being the transfer guy that Hugh brought in, everybody had questions about how he would handle that moment, how he would handle that situation, right? You got to give him an A+, Dustin, because he handled it with straight class. He's worked his tail off, and he's helping this team win football games. And I'm telling you right now, I said it a couple episodes ago, I think he helps Auburn win a big football game on the road at Texas A&M. He's going to come in and make something happen for this team in big-time games. And you got to walk out of here in game 1 saying, man, this was a dominant performance from this team. These guys have bought in, Dustin.
Yeah, talking about Payton, I think the best play of the day from any of the quarterbacks was when Payton stepped up in the pocket, runs out to the left side, and ultimately finds Shane Hooks. And there was a couple of plays with Payton where the really good quarterbacks in the NFL, they have a pocket presence. It's not necessarily about having a scrambling ability. Tom Brady, obviously the GOAT. So I'm not trying to say that Payton Thorne is that, but Brady made his career off of just that little sidestep. No, a guy like Big Ben as well, right? Like, nah, it's just a little get out of here. No, bump in over here. Just avoid that pressure and find the guy. And I thought that Payton did that well a couple of times yesterday, just feeling the pressure in the pocket and kind of a low-key athletic play out there to Shane Hooks. And by the way, on the receivers real quick, Shane Hooks and Cam Brown, like I don't know if y'all saw this on the TV screen, but they were beating their dudes every single pass play. Like Cam Brown got held about 7 times. Just being real. Like if the ball would have got thrown over to where he was, like there would have been a lot of flags. And I think there was one that got missed. It was on the other side of where I was sitting in the corner of the end zone. So I don't want to say for sure that was pass interference, but it looked like from where I was. But like they were beating their guys, bro. Shane Hooks was cooking his dude. Trust me when I tell you, he was cooking his dude. I could do the film breakdown. You can see it. But like they were holding them. They were just holding them right off the line. There really was a lot more there. When you talk about the red zone and we talk about how vanilla the game plan was, like Rivaldo Fairweather didn't get a look. Listen, that's not going to be the case. Like this is a Hugh Freeze offense. The tight end's going to get the ball, especially down in the red zone. He didn't even get a look yesterday. Wasn't even a ball thrown his way. They really kept it basic. Hugh said in the post game, I could have kind of did whatever I wanted to do today. By the way, I absolutely hate. I was booing as we need the ball at the end of the game. Like, bro, like come on, dog. Come on. Who cares? They've already got their ass kicked. They've already come all the way down to Massachusetts to take this L. And by the way, like not a very fun bunch of folks, those UMass people. Only about 1,000 of them, but I got to talk to our guy Nathan, man, because you guys got to lighten up. Y'all came down, took a paycheck to take a butt whooping. I don't know, like they took it personal, bro. Like they was really upset in there. And I'm like, y'all came down here after beating New Mexico State and really thought you was about to do something. That's cute, that's cute. And the Auburn fan in me was super worried before the game as well. And it's just a new era, bro. Like the pass to Jay Fair. I just see somebody that open. I'm like, oh my God, using the middle of the field. Slant routes. I saw slant routes. I saw all kind of stuff, man. I saw all kind of different routes. Just a lot of stuff that I haven't seen in a long time. I wanted to make the point also on the offensive line. You talked about the different rotations. Hugh said in the postgame it's about tempo because he's going to go fast, which, by the way, how awesome was that to see? To see some tempo, to not see us get a first down and standing around. I know sometimes you got to slow it down, but like these last couple of years, bro, it just got to the point where like, goodness gracious. We can't ever speed up the defense. We had them going, man. And so it was good to see that. I love seeing the snapping the ball with 30 seconds on the play clock and clean. Like for a first game, the substitutions were clean, man. There wasn't like, I don't know if we even got an illegal formation, maybe one if we did. We only had 4 penalties on the day. So, but like lined up right, substituted right, like everything looked really, really clean and really, really organized. And when it didn't, you talk about Hugh getting into Payton after you missed the throw. I didn't see that being at the game, but what I did see was whenever we were trying to run the clock down, maybe early in the fourth, and Robby let it go down too much and had to call a timeout because we almost got to delay a game. I saw Hugh lose it then, and it's like, hey man, up by 40, still coaching, not just what we've seen. And this isn't just a shot at the last guy. This is a shot at the last 2 guys of guys just messing up and then just walking right past the head coach back onto the sideline. That ain't it, bro. That ain't it. And that ain't going to happen with this staff. You got to get in these guys' faces and let them know, man. Like this is a physical game at the end of the day. There's a reason why guys are hopping around and juiced up. It's a testosterone sport, bro. It is. Like it is what it is. Grown men play this thing. Like Jason Jones, listen to me. That's a grown man, bro. That's a big boy. He came through Tiger Walk, and I'm like, at 5'10", 165 pounds, I'm looking at this guy like, bro, I never had a shot to play no damn D1 athletics nowhere, bro. Look at this guy right here. An absolute freak, man. And let's get over here to the defense, Blake. I told you I'm going to start off right here with your boy because you talked about him all summer. And to a point that I've been making as well. We said it, bro. Get the damn ball. You got to go get the rock. And your boy Simp got that rock twice. Pick 6 house call. I text Blake. I said, don't burn down Mobile, bro. Don't burn down the city. I know I know it's coming. Eugene Asante was flying around. I got to put my boy Keldrick Falk in there. I don't know how many more games we're going to go with Keldrick Falk not starting. And it doesn't even really matter, the whole starting thing, because that doesn't mean that you can't get more reps than the guy that started. It's just a thing for depth chart and for lineups and media really at the end of the day. But, yeah, bro, I thought Keldrick started coming on pretty early in that game and was making some noise, man. He had a tackle and a half for loss there, half a sack. He's going to get to that 8 or 9 like I talked about. Blake, my biggest takeaway on defense was Keionte Scott, and we're going to get into Donovan Kaufman. But the questions have been about pressure on the quarterback, right? And we've heard about the uniqueness of Ron Roberts' scheme. And then the pick 6 is a perfect example. Keionte Scott calls that.
Yep.
Keionte Scott getting in there. It's a beautiful call by Ron Roberts, knowing what the offense is going to run before. We just outcoached them. And, we've talked about Don Brown's a good coach.
Yep.
Right? That's a good coaching staff at UMass.
Had a top 10 defense last year.
I know it's fun to make fun of UMass, and I know they're not a good team. I'm not saying they're going to come out here and win 7-8 games. They're not. They're not going to make a bowl. I get all that. But that's a well-coached team. And we were just ahead of the curve, man. And that plays a good example of it. And Kaufman and Keionte, bro, were just wrecking havoc. And I know that if that was as vanilla as it was on offense, probably pretty safe to say that was some vanilla Ron Roberts stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it was already causing a lot of havoc. Blake, your guy Jay Simp had a day.
Hey, I put it out there on Twitter. I told you guys that he would lead this team in picks.
4 more to go.
And it started yesterday, man, and what a day he had. Look, DJ James had one. It should be a tied race because he had one that went right through his mitts. But that's why he plays DB, right? And that's why he doesn't play receiver. It hit him in the worst spot it could, right in his hands. But look, like you mentioned, man, Keionte causing the pressure off the edge. He really set that play up, and Simp just jumped that route and took it back to the crib. Had a little celebration to go on top of that too. That might be why I got the little shades on right here. The sauce just felt a little different, throwing the ball up, doing his little dance. Loved it, man. But one thing I want to point out too, Dustin, is how to get a freshman acclimated into college football, right? K and Lee coming off the edge. All right. Ron Roberts wasted no time. All right. He said, Kayan, you're out here. You're a player. You're coming from the corner slot, my buddy, and we're gonna blitz and we're gonna put you in the game right away. Dude, they can come from anywhere. Like Ryan Roberts is going to heat the quarterback up this year, and we saw that yesterday. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to blitz all the time when you get into conference play and things like that. But Donovan Kaufman, man,
Ooh.
I mean, what a day! In my opinion, man, I know I could get cooked for this take, whatever you want to say, but I mean, that was like, it gave me Honey Badger vibes. It gave me Honey Badger vibes.
The way it was used.
If you remember the way the Honey Badger played at LSU, right? If you remember the Tyrann Mathieu days and how he come off the edge, how he strip fumbles and just over the middle of the field, man, picking passes off and everything. Like, he was a menace on defense. And I think that's the role that Donovan Kaufman will play on this football team this year. I think he will wreak havoc in the backfield, and I think he will blow plays up. And that's just how he's going to have to play. Hey, what is he, 5'9", 5'10"? Yeah. I mean, he's going to have to get in there and get grimy and slimy and dirty, and that's what type of player he is. And him coming off the edge, man, he had a sack yesterday. Fomachan just made a hell of a play.
Yeah.
He got spun around, he saw his back, and he pitched it back to him. That was a sack, bro. I mean, that's just an athletic quarterback making a play. And, UMass was in the right place at the right time, and they ended up picking up a gain off of that. But the kid makes plays, man. Eugene Asante, he was doing it. I think he even done it on special teams one time.
Flying around, dog. Like, it reminded me a lot, and Kaufman as well. But it reminded me a lot of like I'm not saying their games are exactly the same here because they're not, but it reminded me a lot of a Robinson Therese type situation.
Yeah.
Where you're just wherever the ball is, maybe not even making the play, but Eugene was there every time, bro. It felt like he had more than 6 tackles.
Yeah, absolutely. A headhunter, and we've heard that in fall camp, right? We heard that he was going to blow plays up, and he did just that. Dustin, I want to ask you about Keldrick Falk. There was some things with Elijah McAllister, right? He's a team guy, team leader, team captain, locker room guy, whatever you want to call him, right? There was a lot of, build up about him not playing his best game, him not setting the edge. Do you think we eventually see Keldrick fall over there and get after Elijah?
Yeah, and I've heard a couple of different Auburn media people make this point, so it's not an original point, and anybody watching it can tell this anyway. But you didn't have Jalen McLeod and you didn't have Nehemiah Pritchett, right? So there's 2 guys right there that are starters that you're kind of dependent on to make tackles, and especially Jalen McLeod obviously is required to set that edge there. So, but that's what we talked about as well, is a lack of depth at that position. So yeah, I do. And listen, bro, who was did you see Terrence Love was one of the first safeties off the bench? This is a freshman class that the top of this class we just brought in is like top 5 level. Like the Connor Lews, the Keldrick Falks, the Kane Lees. You're going to see a Darren Reed, however you say his name, the big D lineman. You're going to see him. He just got in late. I would have liked for him to get in the spring, but you're going to see him as the season goes on, get in there and make some noise. Terrence Love, Colton Hood. How about our guy Champ Anthony being one of the first outside corners, bro? Kids played 4 JUCO games. 4 JUCO games. Bro, like one of the first guys off the bench, dude. There's a lot of young talent on this team that I was really excited. My dog Connor Lew was moving people when he got in the game, bro. There was a couple times where he put a UMass nose tackle straight on his ass. And I'm like, bro, I know that's got to be demoralizing when a 17-year-old comes through and just straight bodies you on multiple plays. But to your point specifically on Keldrick, already got that half a sack, that tackle for loss. And there was a couple other plays that he was right there in on. He's going to be a problem, dude. He's going to be a problem. And I think he starts really, really soon. I mean, and to your point on Elijah, man. So some things that you didn't see if you weren't there, like, okay, last year, Penn State game. Let's say before it got out of hand, still wasn't the most hypest atmosphere considering the situation, right? Elijah McAllister consistently and what this is my final take, so I'll save this for the end. But with the new clock rules, there's about 5 minutes of you just sitting there. Great, NCAA. That's what we all wanted. I'm sure y'all got to see a bunch of stupid Dr. Pepper commercials that aren't funny, but nevertheless, during those 5, 6, 7, 25-minute media timeouts, after we score a touchdown, we go 30 minutes, then we come and we kick the ball off, and then we go 30 more minutes before we come back and continue the drive. But we want to slow the game down. This shit took longer. Anyway, I'll get off that's for the end. During those timeouts, Elijah McAllister, almost every time, in front of the student section. Come on. When we're up by 35 during the media timeouts, Elijah McAllister, kind of right there in that end zone part where the student section bleeds over to the back corner of the end zone, going around. Come on. Dancing with Albee, doing all these things. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Elijah McAllister does that people just got to understand. And when he had a sack too. So it's like, I know that there were some plays. Okay. But his kid still had a sack. I don't think he played like terrible. And to that point, yeah, what he had 2.5 sacks last year at Vanderbilt. No one brought in Elijah McAllister thinking he's about to set the world on fire stat wise. If you did, you didn't know what you were looking at. And it's hard. Pass rushers are a premium. In today's game, getting after the quarterback's one of the main things, right? Like you got to be able to do it or you're going to get cooked. With the athletes that exist at receiver and the passing schemes that exist in 2023, you've got to get to the quarterback. So the point I'm making is it's hard to get them in the portal. So you get a Jalen McLeod that has 6.5 sacks that did not necessarily light the world on fire. You get a guy like Elijah McAllister that had 2.5 sacks, not exactly lighting the world on fire. Like if you expected these big sack numbers to come from some of these guys, I don't really know what to tell you. When you had 46, 47, whatever the number is, new guys brought in, you have to have some cats like Elijah McAllister that get on guys that are late. Mm-hmm. You have to have these kind of guys. And I can tell you, because I know some things, this locker room needs them.
Yep.
They really needed them during the summer. And the result that you got, and when we talked about the organization and everybody being on the same page and the energy and all that, Elijah McAllister is a key part of things like that. He is a team captain. He is a team leader. Just him walking through Tiger Walk, just the presence is different. You know, when you're around people and you're just like, oh, I bet if I talked to you for 30 minutes, I would feel like a dummy. Like it's that kind of thing, bro. It's that kind of thing. Just his presence, his aura that he gives off. Just a really impressive young man. So like, there's a lot of things. We see the 3 hours.
Yep.
But Monday through Friday is where the games are won, and you don't win games. You have 5 and 7 seasons. You have 6 and 7 seasons when you're losing in Birmingham Bowls to Houston's, when you don't have Elijah McAllister's in the locker room, when you've got half of the locker room is Team TJ and half the room is Team Robby. That's when you go 5 and 7. When you have Elijah McAllister's that reel everybody in and say, no, sir, there's no Team Payton Thorne. There's no Team Robby. This is Team Auburn. That's when you get a 59-14 result. And sure, yes, were you supposed to beat UMass that way? Of course. But you were supposed to beat Mercer that way. You were supposed to beat San Jose State that way. Like, obvious progress has been made. And like Hugh Freeze made a point also in the postgame that me and you made as well. Celebrate the dubs. They're hard. They're freaking hard to get no matter who it is. And you've only got 12 games on the schedule for sure a year. So enjoy the wins. I don't understand the whole like thing going on right now in the fans with, did we use Peyton Wright versus Robby and blah, 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 blah. We'll figure it out, man. You figure it out. You know what I saw? I saw 2 QBs that scored 4 touchdowns total, didn't turn the ball over, and then my third string came in and went 2 for 2 with 2 bombs. And I saw Malcolm Johnson say, "Yo, where are my reps? I'm healthy now. Where are my reps?"
Mm-hmm. A burner,
a straight burner, bro. So yeah, man, like there's just a lot of stuff to be excited about, and I text you like halfway through the second quarter. I was like, I'm in love with this Ron Roberts stuff, bro. Like, because I know it's vanilla. I know there's so much more. And you've got Keionte coming. You've got, like you said, Kaylee, like second, third rep, D1 college football. Hey, kid, go get the quarterback. What? I'm on outside corner. Yeah, go get the quarterback. Just a lot of cool stuff, man. A lot of improvements all around the board, man. And so if you're booging, if you've got your Auburn goggles on, like Blake does, I don't blame you, bro. Like you should, because after what we've been through, man, and then for all the hype this summer, it almost kind of set up for like a dud, right? You know. And last point we're here on how these guys were used. So Saturday morning, had breakfast with the War Report guys, right? We're walking out of Stacks Pancakes, and Keionte Scott's uncle was there. And he was like, man, Keionte about to eat. Just was excited for the way he was about to be used, right? And I think you saw that. And Ike's obviously a big Keionte guy. And yeah, I think you saw Ron Roberts is going to put him in a position, man, to where going to put all his guys in a position where they can use their talents.
Will have a punt return touchdown this year. He will get him one. He is electric in the punt return game. And what a key guy for us on this defense, man. I agree 100%. I think Keionte is about to have a hell of a year. And this secondary, wow, have fun. Like I said, how is UMass going to push the ball down the field on this secondary, and then to see our guys eventually get some pressure on the quarterback and just cause havoc all over the field, right? And I think we played a hell of a game. You know, I was asked last night in the War Report post game, you know, the guy, I can't remember his name, who asked the question, but he said, you know, I grade things a 9. I think it was Otis or something like that.
Otis Smith.
Otis Smith. That's it. Otis Smith. He asked the guys, he said, I graded a 9. You know, what would you guys grade it? And I said, I'm right there at an 8 or 9. You know, like I'm pleased. Yeah, there was, look, the first drive, like B Will said, man, it's scripted. Mm-hmm. UMass had a scripted plan, what they wanted to do. And sometimes if it goes to perfection and planned like you expect it to, sometimes you come out on that second drive and the first couple plays of it are scripted. Coaches like to go like about the 10 to 15 plays are scripted of a game. So, yeah, we did give up a walk-in touchdown. Like they walked it right down the field on us. But I'll tell you a text I got from my dad, man. He said, hey, first drive of the game, don't sweat it. We're still filling each other out, right? Yeah, there was red flags, but it's the first game of the year, man. It's expected. A flipped roster, all right, coming together, first possession of the game. Don't sweat it. We're fine.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to get on this whole Colorado thing, but, man, we keep saying it, right? We're so, especially people that have been watching ball a little bit longer, the older crowd, we're so used to like a new coach. It takes time to turn things around. And then you see like a team like Colorado yesterday with a whole brand new roster, and they're like 20-point underdogs to the national championship runner-up. That makes sense on paper when you're looking at it, but that makes sense for the first 120 years of college ball. It's a new era, and we're just going to have to get used to this, man. Like, it's a whole new team. It's a whole new deal. So I know, like, when we did our season prediction, a lot of people didn't like us predicting us to lose to Arkansas, or they were making comparisons to saying, you know, well, to Alabama and saying, well, with Harson's first year, we almost beat them at home and this kind of thing. And it's like, nah, man, you can't look at last year's teams and games. It's especially now. You couldn't do it before, but you damn sure can't do it now, man. And I just think that this new roster and everything that we got going, bro, like is a ton of reasons to really like actually start to have some faith and start to believe and stay up late till 10 o'clock. Get your nap in at like 7 o'clock next week, bro, because we got Pac-12, Pac-2 after dark. Did you see the meme going around of the Pac-12 schedule next year? And it was Oregon State versus Washington State rotating home and away every week.
I saw the one of Tupac. It said the Pac-12 is now turned into Tupac. And I was like, man.
Oh, bro, that's rough.
And then Oregon State's AD said that he hopes the Pac-12 image can be restored. Like, dude, just join the Mountain West. Like, get it over with.
Restored? There's nothing left of it.
No.
What are you trying to restore? It's been torched to the ground.
It died. It died when USC and UCLA chose to go to the Big Ten, man.
Yeah, the time to save that was 2 years ago. Look, guys, if you want to look as fly as Blake does today, if you listen on audio, Blake's got the stunner shades on. But if you want to look as fly as Blake, man, go over to thewarreport.com/shop. Go on there and Blake, show the people that shirt one more time. Level up, man, up tempo. Go in there and get that, guys. Help us out, man. Also, home field apparel, 15% off your first purchase using the code UPTEMPO. And Blake, for our members, tomorrow, Labor Day, I will be off. I'm going to be doing the recruiting pod, man. Went to Phoenix City, hung out with our guy, Mike G, at the Phoenix City game. Checked out Cam Coleman, Spencer Waldrop, big offensive tackle there that Auburn's after. Dylan Upshaw, big-time class of 2025 receiver that Auburn's after as well. And if you're one of our members, man, you can get full access to that pod as I struggle to find the banner for this. Here we go. Blake, talk to people about the memberships, baby.
Yeah, we got a JV Squad membership for $3.99 a month, and it's members-only live chat, member shout-outs, priority to reply to comments, early access to videos, and exclusive gifts. And if you want to upgrade that and things like Dustin is talking about, you can go to the Varsity Squad for $5.99 a month, recruiting update videos. And Dustin will drop that one tomorrow for everybody. And a game day group chat. Look, I'm getting with Ike. We're still going to try to figure out how to set this up and everything and get it rolling. Gameplay with you. Send us over your Xbox gamer tags, man. We're ready to play with you guys. We can play some Madden, or next summer when NCAA football comes out. I think that'll be an awesome time. And we can get a little Xbox party and chat it up about some Auburn sports. So watch the film, Auburn baseball. Guys, I think we got some exciting stuff coming for Auburn baseball season. Look, if you're not a baseball fan, I would advise you to check some of this stuff out. All right, because it's going to be special. We're growing. Dustin put a picture up of the renovations that are going on at Plainsman Park right now as we speak, and we're going to have some of these guys on. We've already had a couple of them on the show, right? But we're working some things out where we could go a little bit more in depth and this not be on a podcast, right? But then I'm going to sit down. I'm going to break down some film of Ike Irish and Cooper McMurray and those guys, I'll even go into some pitching stuff, right? The Tanner Bauman's of the world and the Joseph Gonzalez's, right. Him coming back. What a huge get for him to return. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff, man. We're going to be going live, too, during basketball games. We'll be live during baseball games and everything, and just going pitch by pitch, man, and shot by shot. We'll be live at tip for the first Auburn basketball game. So there's just exciting stuff. Get in this chat because we have a blast, right? I mean, there was a time last year against Ole Miss, Cooper McMurray come up with bases loaded, and I said, hey, this is the guy right here you want up that could hit a grand slam. Next pitch, Coop hits a grand slam. So it's fun to get in there, Dustin, and have a good time, brother.
Yes, sir, for sure. And like you said, so our Varsity Squad members, little preview, man. So I went to Phoenix City, bro, and checked out Dylan Upshaw, Cam Coleman. I got a ton of stuff coming for you guys. A little Dylan Upshaw touchdown right here. Patty Nick set him up, bro. But I was very impressed with Dylan, man, as you see right here on the little bubble screen that he takes to the house with a stiff arm there. Very athletic kid, man. I got a couple of Cam Coleman highlights. I got a lot of Dylan Upshaw and Spencer Waldrop as well. So that's just a little preview of what we got going on, man, for these recruiting videos every Friday night. I'm getting out to these games, man. I'm hustling. I'm out here grinding, bro, getting these guys, getting these prospects, checking them out. I will say this, after watching Cam Coleman, Blake, and I told Mike G this, and I told the boys this as well Saturday morning. The only differences that I see between Cam Coleman and Bryce Kane, and this is not me crapping on the A&M kid because Cam Coleman is a 5-star. But after these last 2 Friday nights, the difference is the size. That's the difference. There's not a whole, like, talent level wise, not a big drop off between Cam Coleman and Bryce Kane. And and Cam is elite. Okay. Cam had 3 tutties. They were up 52-0 at halftime, but then they brought in a whole bunch of future D1 guy, like Phoenix City Stag Dog. That's a different situation there. You can watch them just warm up and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But yeah, man, impressive stuff there. And that whole thing will be coming up tomorrow, breaking down every commitment, how they did. this weekend, getting those stats in for you guys, and I'll be breaking down the film from the games that I was at. Blake, let's get in here and get to players of the game, man. I put this up on Twitter, right, for defense, because I feel like we'll get into offense, I guess, but like offense was so spread out that like the stats were kind of all over the place. And I thought that Payton looked fine, but like the stats didn't kind of blow you away. 10 for 17, $141 with a tutty. And Robby getting 3 tutties. So I'm like, okay, that's the guy. Like that's your player of the game with 3 touchdowns, with the stats being as divided and split up as they were. But defense is the one that interested me because a lot of different guys had good games. Put the poll up, and 35% Jaylin Simpson, 35% Donovan Kaufman. So me, like they were literally tied. So me and you had to, and then I believe I had Keldrick on there and somebody else. But obviously, I'm talking the two. Eugene, that's correct. And they got a couple of votes, but overall, man, Donovan and Simp were the overall top vote getters there. So literally tied at 35%. So me and you had to make the call. Who do we go with here? And we decided on Donovan, bro. Like, it just seemed like you talked about. He was all over the place, and sure, Sent picked up that fumble, but who forced it? And hey, it's a good problem to have when you can sit here and go, I don't know exactly which guy, it was. Yeah. And Marcus Harris, bro. Marcus Harris played a good game. Like, Jason Jones played a good game. Battled through some stuff. Like, I thought Justin Rogers started to kind of turn it on. A lot of guys played well, man. And I thought Champ Anthony played well. I know that we got beat on that one long one, but it's like a bunch of young guys. And then the kid that scored the touchdown for UMass there, we talked about him, the Samson, whatever his name is, the kid from Arizona, the wide receiver transfer. That kid's a player. Yep. That kid's a player. So he got you. It's 2023, bro. Giving up 14 points is like giving up a touchdown back in the day. It's just different, man. I'm not really gonna sit here and get too mad about it. You got any thoughts on this, Blake?
Donovan Kaufman, like I said, a playmaker, and he is going to be used like I think, like the Honey Badger was at LSU. I think he's going to be in that star position, man. He's going to be heating up the quarterback, blowing up plays in the backfield, and his tackling, man, for sure, tackler. I was pleased to see that. And as far as Robby Ashford, I said my piece on him. Yeah. Just damn proud of the kid, man. Damn proud of 9 and the way he's handled this situation. And seeing him score 3 times yesterday, red zone Robby is it's trending. They even used it on SEC Network last night. So good for these two dudes, good for this football team. And you can tell that this thing's starting to become a program and not a program. Right? And that's what you really want. I know Dan Lanning, he went up to Oregon, right? And in his first presser, he said, I want to turn this into a program. They were like, program, like it's a program. He said, no, I want it to be an SEC program. All right. So, I think that's what Hugh's turned it into, man. And one thing I wanted to say for my final thoughts, Dustin, and I know you made a point about Hugh Freeze earlier, about him coaching up 40, right? And I want to turn it back to this, and some might not like this because of who I'm about to bring up, but back when A.J. McCarron was the backup quarterback, I think it was in 2010, A.J. McCarron was the backup quarterback. They were playing Mississippi State at home, the University of Alabama. A.J. comes in, he makes a mistake, and as he's walking to the sideline, Nick Saban is having a conniption fit. All right. He's thrown the headset off. It's in pieces on the sideline. And he gets up in AJ's face and he just starts ripping him. I mean, tearing him to pieces. And then when AJ says, yes, sir, and he goes to walk off, Saban just bang right on the rear end. All right. He caught a lot of criticism over that. All right. He caught a lot of heat over it. They were like, hey, man, you shouldn't be putting your hands on these kids. Right. That was a life lesson. All right. Not only a football lesson, but it was a life lesson. All right. You mess up, I'm here to get on your ass. It's a life lesson. All right. Not just on the football field. And it makes these kids into men. All right. So for the world that we live in today, where everybody wants to be soft and everybody wants to put your nose in timeout and everything like that, and you think that cures everything. All right. These kids, man, they got to be coached. All right. And when you're up 40 and you're still coaching like that, these kids take note of that. These recruits take note of that. They say, hey, man, I want to play for a guy like that. All right. I want to play for a guy like that. One thing that sticks out to me, Mario Cristobal, I know he takes a lot of heat, but in a game 2 years ago when he was at Oregon, they picked up a first down. Receiver gets up, spins the football, all right, as he picks up a first down. Mario Cristobal lost his stuff on that kid, went ballistic on him, all right, because that's stuff that you don't do, and you coach that kid, and he learns from it, all right. Great point by you on Hugh doing that, still up 40, and you don't see him over here celebrating and everything or doing this. There's coaching lessons being taught in that locker room, on that sideline, and behind the scenes each and every second of the day, man. So congrats to Hugh Freeze. Congrats to being 1-0, and only 14 more to go, Dustin.
Yes, sir. Blake, it was so lost in it is that we got an offensive line commitment for the 2025 class. That's how well it went, you know. And we'll talk about that more on the on the recruiting breakdown. I'm going to get in here a little bit and look at some of that kid stuff and find out everything I can on him. So again, for you varsity squad members, that's coming tomorrow. So my final thoughts, bro, is just like you said, man, like just the whole Auburn family, like hell yeah, you know. And I walked into I went into the basketball arena Saturday, and you hear the screeching of the sneakers, and Coach Harris and the ladies are in there practicing, and man, it just felt good. It felt good, bro. After this long summer, this desert of just trying to create some content for you guys, man, and there being nothing going on. Oh, look, the Rays are playing the Red Sox for the 35th time. Yay. And the playoffs won't even start to form until halfway through the football season. Like, golly, dude, July is such a freaking drag, bro. The first couple weeks of August are such a drag. And then I know when I see 10-year-olds on my TV playing baseball that it's almost time.
It's a fact.
It's almost time. I'm not going to watch them 10-year-olds play baseball because I could not care less. But I know that when we get there, bro, that it's almost time. And it's been fun to be at Baker, be at Phoenix City. I had a blast hanging out with Mike G Friday night, man. So it's just been fun. I'm so happy to be a part of this War Report team. These guys are working so hard, man. I can tell you, like, for real, these guys love Auburn.
Yep.
Like, yes, the goal is to grow in subscribers. Yes, the goal is to make money and do all that kind of, like, I mean, why else would you be doing it, right? Like, we're trying to do big boy stuff here. But these guys love Auburn, bro. They really do. And it's just a hustle. It's just a grind, and super motivated to take this thing to the top. So really fired up for this season, man. Really fired up for the team of guys that were on. They're good people, man. They're hard workers. Really excited to be teamed up with them. And yeah, like I kind of already said it, but yo, we didn't ask for less plays. Nobody asked for less football plays. We asked for less stupid commercials. I don't know where Fansville is, but I hope that bitch burns to the ground, bro. I hope somebody torches Fansville, because Sheriff Bosworth, he ain't funny. And somebody needs to call Bo Jackson to run over his ass, because it ain't funny, bro.
Yeah.
It ain't funny. I'm not laughing. I wasn't laughing at the Bryce Young one last year. Like, it ain't, like, where's Larry Culpepper?
Yes.
Where is Larry Culpepper, bro? Yes. Somebody go get Larry Culpepper, because I need an ice cold Dr. Pepper here.
And the inventor of the college football playoff.
I mean, come on. Come on, bro. Get me out of Fansville. If you're going to make me watch commercials with a little bit of football sprinkled in, can I laugh at them?
Yeah.
What are we doing, dude? Like, I'm watching guys run out of bounds and the clock is running. What in the world? Bro, we get 12 games. Not one of the 88,000 people in that stadium. And I heard some stupid stuff because, boy, I got to shout out to the Up-Tempo gang, the War Report family, and all you guys, bro, because, like, there are some casuals. Boys sitting behind me decked out. Auburn socks, Auburn shorts, Auburn shirt, Auburn hat. Why isn't Jarquez playing? Who is this? What? Payton Thorne. Huh? Like, hair want to blow off my shoulders, big dog. So a lot of casuals out here, man. Really appreciate you guys. Blake, before we get out of here, bro, the push for 1K, we are so close. Yes, our goal was to get to 1,000 before kickoff. Look, we knew when we put that goal that was like high. We were like right at 300 when we said that. We were actually like, we knew that was a very high bar to set, and looking at the analytics that we weren't like on track to get there. And like, we're knocking on the door, bro. We're 75 away. So I feel like if we can do the growth that we had in July, that now that the season's here, it's time to get this thing bumping, man. So share this video out, like and subscribe to the channel, all this kind of things, man. We really appreciate you guys. 7 o'clock Central Time, Tuesday night, going live. You already know the deal. Get in there, get your comments in, get your questions in. We want to have a good time. Trying to bring on a special guest like that, like we always try to do, man. And look at the Cal Golden Bears, bro. Mm-hmm. The Cal Golden Bears. Going to travel out, play a game at 10 o'clock at night. Going to be doing some post-game stuff at like 1:30 in the morning, I would assume. So, yeah, bro, get your Red Bulls ready or whatever it takes to get you juiced up, man. But be in there Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, man. Yeah. It's going to be an absolute blast. We'll put a wraps on this weekend. We're sure some injury news will probably come out as football, you know. Maybe talk about some recruiting stuff and all that kind of stuff. So Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, bro. See you guys. Blake, talk to the people, man. Let them know what's up.
Hey, hopefully we can get Jim in here on this live show, but if not, we will get an episode with him for you guys to preview this Cal Auburn matchup. We're trying to work things out. We're messaging back and forth. Obviously, the time difference, right?
Cal beat writer.
Yeah, Cal beat writer. They're 2 hours behind us, so we're trying to work out a good time for him to come on. If we can't get him on the live show, we will try to work in an episode to preview this thing. So big news coming. Big stuff coming this coming week, man. A big game. Man. Like we said, this is going to tell us a lot about this Auburn football team. So, hey, we're bugging. We're excited. Be damn proud of this football team. Be damn proud of this program. And be damn proud of Hugh Freeze and this coaching staff. War damn Eagle.
War damn, baby. War